You gotta stop giving away appointment cards. They just simply don't work, especially in today's day where most of us have our calendars on our phones or in our pockets. Most of the time we're booking those meetings or appointments, we're putting them right onto our phones. Even retirees these days are techie enough in order to book things on their electronic calendars. So what's the point of even giving appointment cards? They end up just going in the trash as soon as they get home, or they go on the counter and eventually slide into the trash a couple days later. So here's a really quick idea to make sure people keep their appointments with you when they're booking at workshops, when you meet them in person. You need to be able to give them a gift. The quick idea is it does start with your personal story. So if you're doing any sort of educational workshops or dinner seminars or a time where you are booking a good amount of appointments, you want to make sure that they stick. You want to make sure that they stay with you and they actually show up to the first appointment. And so hopefully in that workshop, you share a little bit about yourself. You share a little bit about your personal story. Maybe it's something that why you got into the business, or maybe it's your upbringing and that's why you do what you do every single day. And you got a little authentic and you shared some personal stories. That's step number one. But then step number two is when they leave and they book that appointment with you because they know, like, and trust you now. How do you tie that in back to your personal story? Maybe you shared a story about how you grew up playing baseball, right? And it's a big part of what you do. Or it's a funny story when you were a kid or something like that. And so the idea is, well, then you should give away a baseball with your logo and then a place where they can put the time and date on the actual baseball. Because when you actually get this baseball as your appointment card, if somebody handed me a baseball, I'd be like, it's going to remind me of the time when that advisor told me a story about how they grew up playing baseball and maybe it was a hard or funny story. It's going to remind me, and that thing's not going in the trash. It might go to my kids eventually, but it's memorable, right? It's different. Had an advisor talk about how he grew up and his family took him camping and how he wants to do that now, or he's currently doing that with his grandkids, and it's an authentic story. And so he gives away these little squishy campers. I don't have the example in front of me, but it's funny, right? They could put a time and date on a little squishy camper with your logo on it. Maybe you tell a story about Snickers. I didn't grab a big one for the video, but like you can do custom Snickers, right? You could put the time and date on there, or maybe you just hand it to them with their packet that they're going to get from you when they book an appointment. Or if you want to spend a little bit more money, right, you could do a logoed coffee mug. You know, if you share some sort of story about your love for coffee and your upbringing, or maybe you grew up in a place where they made coffee beans or something, right? And just tie it back in to when they book that appointment. It's just creating that little bit more of that sticky factor, that good reminder of who you are and why they booked that appointment with you. Because a week later or a few days later and life gets in the way, they might forget why they booked that appointment. But if this coffee mug is sitting there on their table, they're probably not going to cancel that meeting. They're going to realize like they got the gift, they made a commitment to you, they're not going to cancel on you. So it's a quick little idea and a little bit of an investment of time and money to make sure that those first appointments stay with you. Make sure you hit subscribe for more videos to come out by the proven way. I got plenty of more value that's coming your way. We're going to be posting videos every single week as much as we can on value out to you for marketing, business tips, leadership tips, sales tips on how you can be the best financial advisor you can be.